So my grandmother came after the genocide to the United States, and she came by boat, but Ellis Island was filled. So they allowed boats to go to other locations, and one of the locations was Providence, Rhode Island, where I moved about 5 years ago.
No kidding.
And I moved to a place that's up on the hill, and I overlook the port, which I didn't know when I bought the house. I found later.
Award-winning filmmaker, television director, producer, and writer Ted Bogosian came to Armenia on the eve of the centennial of the Armenian Genocide. He came not only as an Armenian who needed to be here on this ancient soil, but to continue a journey that began almost 30 years ago.
The search I undertook for a truth no one could deny remains unfulfilled. But I did come in my search to discover something greater and more important: the strength, the immortality of the Armenian spirit that has endured despite all challenge and denial. In my search, I found another truth that could not be denied. In a living people scattered across the globe, I found a nation.
I feel it's a momentous occasion. I can't explain why, but I think that it'll be a whole new century for Armenia. I think this is something that people have been waiting for their entire life, thinking there would be some sort of magic that would transform everything and everyone, including the Turkish government, to acknowledge a genocide, including the President of the United States. That's not going to happen. And what that's going to do is force everyone to confront a new reality, which is even a commemoration like this doesn't convince the President of Turkey, it doesn't convince the President of the United States, it doesn't end the denial. So what does that mean? It means Armenia and Armenians and people who recognize the genocide in a way have to shed their skin and move on. Well, I think it has to be focused more on the homeland and on the diaspora. I think people have to realize that it's a young country with a great strategic position, with a great population who is very capable, if given the opportunity, of learning and transforming into a modern society. I think now there can be a partnership where people can realize that if only more of an investment is made here and the core is strengthened, then it will strengthen the diaspora and the rest of the world. When you look at all of the celebrities who have come forward in the last 2 months, George Clooney, the Kardashians, Hugh Grant, Cher, Eric Bogosian, the list goes on and on. So imagine that you're Turkish and you're curious, at least, about history. Now all of a sudden you see people whom you respect and admire and follow through social media acknowledging the genocide and encouraging you to do the same. So what do you do? Where are the celebrities on your side who are making the argument that the Armenian genocide should not be acknowledged? They aren't there.
We had come halfway around the world to spend 24 hours in the place Mariam had last seen 66 years ago, a town in eastern Turkey called Arapkir.
When I recently published an op-ed and embedded my film, An Armenian Journey, inside it, the #1 country which watched the film, the most hits, came from Turkey. So there's a curiosity. People are reading about the genocide and they're watching films and they're making up their own mind. I have a feeling that something momentous is going to happen. I don't know what it is yet. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'd like to see. I think it takes a while to put things in some sort of context. And so what I'd like to do with the second film is figure out how to use the first film as a platform to build on, since there are no more survivors to take back to Eastern Turkey, since some of the people I worked with before are no longer here. I want to figure out how to leverage all the good work that we did a long time ago and then move on into the next generation. You know, my grandmother said to me, first thing I ever remember her saying to me is, as she was taking rocks out of the garden when I was about 3 years old, she said to me in her broken English, "Nothing matters." And that's how it all started for me. That's how this whole story started. It was because of what she said. Just that one thing she said. If she hadn't said that to me, I wouldn't be standing here right now.
But it did matter at some point, didn't it?
It matters a lot.